So firstly, we would like to ask that where did this idea of an expo come about? Has it been done internationally, or what is the inspiration behind it?
Thank you very much for asking that question actually, because so far, as far as my knowledge and understanding goes and information goes, I don't think no country, no private organization has ever done a museum, international museum expo. People have done biennales, which is basically panel discussions, but I don't think a comprehensive expo on, about, and all things museums has ever taken place in the country or even abroad for that matter. And as you are aware, this is a year of the G20 where India is heading the presidency, and I think this is our cultural product to the world, that we are able to put up an event, curate an event, and present it to the world. And as you can see, that we had to get huge translations done because there were so many foreign delegations and invitees. We have 10 of the Russian museums, the Pushkin, the Sholokonov, the State Literary Museum of Russia, Tolstoy Museum, Lermontov Museum. We have the Hop from Budapest, Netherlands, Dutch, Germany. Of course, Mr. Manuel Rabate was the keynote speaker from the Abu Dhabi Louvre. Mr. Kare just took a master class from Paris. We have the Victoria and Albert Museum, Tim Reeves coming to give a master class on scientific storage. You name it, and there's master class on light installation. The German people, ERCO, and the Indian partner STIR, they are doing a master class. Then we have a master class on museums in metaverse, which is a gentleman from IIT Mumbai and Delhi who's doing that master class. So there are huge amount of exposure, learning, master classes, so much for museum professionals, school children, college students. We have about 13 central government and 13 state government museums represented, which is coming together in a fantastic way. 11 private museums have taken part. Huge number of individual people have got their own collections. The who's who of the world are here. Then you have the children's activity pit, which is very, very, very interesting. You also have what you call a light installation master class, and you can also see what they have done in terms of the photographs, how they've lit up. You have the Navy Museum, you have R8 MOC museums, you have libraries which have manuscripts and objects which have also come here. So it's not just museums, libraries. You have 500 book covers of books written on museums, which are for art residencies and literary residencies and museums. The whole supply chain. You have the Star World, which is the only caterer which does insurance, demurrage, shifting of objects, the crating, packaging. They are here. Then you have a ministerial panel coming up tomorrow. It's a huge 14 state ministers of culture and science are going to be talking about their vision of culture and science in their state. So that's about it, I guess. And there are film shows, there's games, there's a game which is going to get launched tomorrow. So huge amount of interest.
So ma'am, as you of course talk about that, it's a big achievement for us as well. PM Modi also mentioned about the fact that we also have local cultures coming in. So if you could talk a little bit about that.
So huge amount of not local cultures. He spoke about each house having, and he said that when you write a letter today, some generations down, the letter becomes iconic. It is such a sweet way of putting things across. So museums access sustainability, access, because you also saw sign language translator today, not just English language but sign language translator. So access, inclusivity, sustainability, democratized spaces for people. So you can see what is happening now is our idea of converting. So when I was taking the Honorable Prime Minister, I was able to tell him that we are taking you to a museum. You will go through different galleries which will have different things, and then you will alight on the stage, and the feel and the look will be like a museum. So this is all the extra effort that we've done to convert this place into a museum. Yes.
So ma'am, we also had the inauguration of the virtual museum. So how is it accessible to people, and like how can all of us?
So that virtual museum walkthrough that you had of the North and the South Block, the National Museum of the country, one of the largest museums of the country, This is a preview that we've given you of what we plan to do. But as you know, and as you've also heard from the masterclass, that museums take time to build.
Right.
And we are just telling you of our intent that we've got started, and we are going to take this forward.
PM also mentioned about the endless career opportunities. So,
Yes.
as journalism students, and of course in general as students, how is this a new window of opportunity for us?
This is actually not a new window. It's always existed, but because of the fact that museums are mushrooming, and the number of museums that we have been able to make in terms of through the financial grants that the ministry gives, through the development of museum schemes that we have, it is now very, very important that we also start looking at development of museums from the museum professional point of view. And the best way to do that is to look at young children, and that is why the graphic novel A Day at the Museum, that is why the directory, that is why the playing cards, that is why the game tomorrow. So everything is skewed into and game. Also because different communities look at museums from the kind of work that they do. Children through the novels they read, some other, grannies and grandpas through the cards that they play, and the gaming communities through the online games that they want to do. So we are trying to track everyone and get them to focus. You play a game, you look at a film, but everything will be focused in the museum.
Right.
So there's no running away from museums, because there are so many, and so many are bound to come up, because your house is also a museum. We are actually teaching you the art of curating,
Right.
making your household systematic, right? So I think also because we all carry memories.
Right.
So a brain is a museum of memories. No, a heart is a museum of memories. So I think that is something which is very important. So we all carry so much inside of us.
Indeed, ma'am. So my last question is that we have talked about collaborations, we have talked about technology, we are talking about so much about the youth. So what according to you is the way forward when it comes to museums, when it comes to the cultural heritage of India?
So I think because in India we have a huge 5,000 years old plus, if I can say, heritage, which is depicted through a lot of material evidences, and be it artifacts, be it different kinds of artifacts, the wide range that we have. It becomes incumbent absolutely to be able to preserve those artifacts. So we have to speak of conservation, and that is a major effort in conservation, the in situ walk-in conservation lab that we have built. Also the fact that we are trying to catch the children. We have also brought the professionals here. So this is not just a look and see and go. We also want to institutionalize this as an annual event. We want to hold this every year. We are doing a round table on conservation, because we need to do policy advocacy around museums. We need to absorb what the people who are doing this on a daily basis want to tell the government. And capacity building, training, academic institutionalization of this, qualitative and quantitative enhancement in the concentric circle of professionals, I think all of them are very, very important.
Right.